The moon has survived billions of years of violent impacts. Asteroids and meteors have shaped the surface we see today. But on August 5th, the next object expected to crash into the moon won't come from deep space. It was built on Earth. A drifting SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket stage traveling at nearly 2.43 kilometers per second is predicted to slam into the lunar surface. There is no danger to our planet. Yet scientists across the world are preparing to watch every second of it, because this accidental crash could reveal far more than just another crater. According to NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies, the object is the upper stage of a Falcon 9 rocket launched during a US and Japanese mission that carried lunar landers and scientific equipment toward the moon. After completing its mission, this section of the rocket never returned to Earth. Instead, it continued drifting through space with no engine firing, no guidance, and no destination. For months, it silently traveled through space until independent astronomers, using publicly available tracking data, noticed something unexpected. Its orbit had slowly shifted onto a direct collision course with the moon. NASA later confirmed those calculations, but that discovery raised a much bigger question. How does a modern rocket accidentally end up crashing into the moon? The answer lies in how the Falcon 9 is designed. One of the rocket's greatest achievements is reusability. Its first stage lands back on Earth and can fly again on future missions. But the upper stage has a different role. Once it delivers its payload into space, its job is complete. In many missions, that stage is left behind, becoming another piece of human-made space hardware. Sometimes those objects remain in orbit, sometimes they drift deeper into space. And in rare cases, gravity slowly changes their path until they meet another celestial body. The rocket section now heading toward the moon is anything but small. It weighs at least 4,000 kilograms and stands roughly as tall as a 5-story building. Even after months of drifting, it is still moving at nearly 5,400 miles per hour. On Earth, our atmosphere would slow an incoming object and burn away much of it before impact. The moon has almost no atmosphere at all. Nothing will reduce its speed. Nothing will cushion the collision. Every bit of its remaining energy will strike the lunar surface in a single moment. And that's exactly why scientists are paying such close attention. Astronomer Bill Gray, who first identified the rocket's trajectory, predicts the impact will occur near the Einstein crater, a region on the moon's daylight side that can be seen from Earth. His calculations suggest the collision could create a brand new crater more than 17 meters wide. Compared with the moon's countless ancient craters, that may sound small, but this impact is different. For once, scientists know what the object is, how fast it's traveling, and almost exactly where it will land. That makes this far more than a random collision. NASA has also made one thing absolutely clear. There is no threat to Earth. Agency spokesperson Jimmy Russell said NASA will continue tracking the rocket for training purposes and will later study the impact site for scientific research. So while the collision may sound dramatic, it isn't a disaster. In fact, many researchers believe it could become one of the most valuable accidental experiments ever observed on the moon. Because the moment that rocket strikes the lunar surface, the real story will only just be beginning. The moment of impact is expected to happen at around 2:35 a.m. Eastern Time. The collision itself won't be visible to the naked eye from Earth, but for astronomers, that doesn't make it any less spectacular. Powerful telescopes across the Americas, NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and South Korea's Danuri spacecraft are all preparing to observe what happens next. Even amateur sky watchers are joining a citizen science project to record the event, because within a fraction of a second, this abandoned rocket could become one of the most valuable scientific experiments of the year. Dr. Matt Bothwell, public astronomer at the University of Cambridge, says the impact will be enormous. The Falcon 9 stage is expected to smash into the moon with enough force to launch a massive cloud of lunar dust high above the surface. That plume could rise more than 50 kilometers into space before spreading outward. On Earth, an atmosphere would slow the explosion and keep much of the debris close to the ground. But the moon has almost no atmosphere and far weaker gravity. Nothing will stop the material from blasting upward. Scientists estimate that around 1 million kilograms of debris could be thrown into space before slowly falling back to the surface. That spectacular explosion isn't what excites researchers the most. The real prize is the information hidden inside the dust itself. By measuring how much material is ejected, how high it travels, and how quickly it falls back, scientists can improve their models of how impacts shape the moon. More importantly, the collision may expose fresh material buried beneath the lunar surface. Instead of sending a mission to dig into the moon, nature, and in this case, an abandoned rocket, will briefly do the digging for them. NASA has already confirmed there is no danger to Earth, but the event carries another important lesson. This rocket stage reached the moon because it became uncontrolled after completing its mission. It is a reminder that every launch leaves something behind. According to the European Space Agency, there are now around 54,000 objects larger than 10 centimeters floating in space. Since the beginning of the space age in 1957, humanity has launched about 17,000 tons of material beyond Earth's atmosphere. As more satellites and rocket stages accumulate, experts warn that the growing amount of space debris is becoming an increasingly serious challenge. Dr. Bothwell believes people should pay closer attention to that problem. Every year, more objects are placed into orbit. Sometimes inactive satellites collide with one another, breaking apart into thousands of smaller fragments. Those fragments can then create even more collisions, increasing the amount of dangerous debris surrounding our planet. While this Falcon 9 stage poses no threat to Earth, it serves as a powerful reminder that humanity's expanding presence in space also creates long-term responsibilities. This isn't even the first time an abandoned rocket has reached the moon. In 2022, the upper stage of China's Long March 3C rocket, originally launched during the 2014 Chang'e 5T1 mission, struck the moon's far side. Decades earlier, NASA intentionally crashed spacecraft into the lunar surface to gather valuable information before the Apollo missions. The difference today is that this impact was never planned, yet it may still produce discoveries that scientists could never have predicted when the rocket first left Earth. The moon will survive this collision just as it has survived countless others over billions of years. Another crater will quietly become part of its ancient landscape. But for scientists, this is far more than another scar on the lunar surface. It is a rare opportunity to watch an impact unfold in real time, uncover fresh clues hidden beneath the moon's surface, and learn more about the growing footprint humanity is leaving across space. Sometimes history isn't made by a mission that goes exactly as planned. Sometimes it begins with a rocket that simply never stopped traveling.